my first question is, do you have a favorite book or movie?
Yes, I do. Because there was one that stands out the most, I guess, but I don't know if it's my favorite because of the topic necessarily, because it's kind of a strange book. There's other books that are more influential in my life, but I really like the book and the movie Requiem for a Dream. It's pretty heavy, but
Yeah, that is an excellent movie, yes.
and the book is even better than the movie for me. I read it the year after I watched the movie, I think, and there's
Yeah, I have not
variation.
read the book.
Yeah, so yeah, that
And
would be my choice.
is there something new that you have always wanted to try?
Yes, there is a lot of new things that I would like to try. There's not one specific thing, because usually when I want to try it, I try it. But I think right now the next thing I want to do is to complete a service design map, like a blueprint. Have that as an article or a thing that I've completed. I want to finish that and have that as my output. That's next on the list.
Yeah, sounds good. And do you have any hidden talents?
Uh-huh. Hidden talents. No, I don't think so. I like to rap, but I don't think I'm very good at it. So I wouldn't say it's a talent, but it's something I like that people get
Yeah,
surprised by.
I can imagine. And what is the most spontaneous thing you have ever done?
Um, huh. I've done a lot of spontaneous things, but maybe the one that comes to mind is in Peru. My coworker was visiting and left her iPhone, I don't know, 17 or something, on the top of an ice cream man in traffic, on the top of an ice cream man's ice cream truck, like the ones that they wheel around. And then he walked off, and then she's like, I have to go get it. I have to go find this guy. And she didn't speak Spanish. And I don't know, I hopped on a motorcycle and went to go find this guy. The motorcycle belonged to a security guard that I didn't know. I was just like, hey, will you do this if I pay you? So that was pretty spontaneous. We found the phone though.
Yeah, I can imagine that sounds like an adventure.
Yeah, it was fun. My boyfriend was there. He's like, yeah, go ahead. You do crazy stuff, whatever. Just go.
And what is the best trip you have ever been on?
The most recent trip I just went on was pretty amazing. It was 4 months in Europe, some parts of the Balkans. It was really nice. I really
Yeah,
like.
that sounds good. I think I would enjoy that.
Who wouldn't? I love to travel.
Yeah. Yeah, my mobility is limited now, but I still love to travel. And if I find somewhere that is wheelchair accessible, it's easier for me to get around.
What,
Yeah,
can I ask you a question here?
yeah.
Just because it occurred to me, what has been your favorite place that was wheelchair accessible that you have traveled to recently,
Um,
or that you felt like really
probably,
comfortable to get around?
yeah, probably recently. Um, we had San Fermines, which is a big festival here in Pamplona,
Mhm.
and it only going to the city center. It was nice to get out and enjoy the festival. And I was in my electric wheelchair, so I was able to be more independent and not have to depend on someone pushing my wheelchair
How fast?
because
How fast did it go?
I am not I am not paralyzed, but my balance is really bad. So I rely on a walker.
Uh-huh. I'm gonna stop this recording. Electric wheelchair and how it's easier to be more independent in the wheelchair so you can move around, which I can imagine must be much more freeing on vacation
Yeah,
or on a trip.
because I am not paralyzed, thank God, but my balance is really bad. So
Mm-hmm.
I use a walker or a wheelchair to get around.
Sure, because you know that can be scary. I lose my balance all the time for no reason. And I can imagine having a balance problem, you know, it definitely is helpful to have something to lean on. My friend has
Yeah,
MS and she also alternates between a wheelchair on some days when the MS is more active and a walker on the other days.
yeah, it's frustrating because until I got sick, I did not have any of these mobility problems. So it's frustrating to know that I am capable of walking normally, but I cannot.
I can imagine, my goodness. And I'm assuming you're going to like physical therapy as well, to try to bring back some of that functionality, if possible. It must be really difficult though, huh?
Yes, I go to physical therapy 4 days a week and
Wow.
speech therapy once a week.
And how do you feel about the progress?
Uh, I feel that the progress is slow but steady. So I am making small progress all the time. And as long as I continue making progress, then I can deal with it because I am very lucky that I do not have a medical condition that will only get worse. It will get better if with time and effort. So even if I'm stuck like this for 5 more years, then in my total lifespan, that will just be a blink of an eye.
Yeah, that's such a positive silver lining on a really shitty situation for sure. Oh, sorry, I don't know if I'm allowed to swear.
Yeah, that's okay. Don't worry about it.
Sorry, that's the Boston in me. Um,
Yeah, no problem.
and may I ask, I know you probably have more questions, but just if you don't mind, like one last question, just because I don't fully remember, as you know, I don't have the best memory. What happened with your condition? What was it, like a viral thing, or what happened?
No, it was not. So, in a nutshell, what happened was I had a condition that I was born with called hydrocephalus, and it means water on the brain.
Mhm.
So my brain pressure was increasing and my body could not regulate the pressure. So when I was born, the doctors in Texas gave me a pump to drain off the excess brain fluid
Mhm.
into my stomach.
Wow. Okay.
So the pump worked until I was 35 and I had a normal life. But then the pump broke here in Spain
Oh,
and they tried to fix my old pump, but it was too old, so they couldn't fix it. And they ended up having to give me two new pumps. And the problem that I had was the pumps were not talking to each other and synchronizing.
mm,
So one would work and the other would not. And it caused me a lot of problems. And
wow.
I speak like this because I have facial paralysis from the increased brain pressure. So I never had a stroke, but I have many of the same symptoms
Mhm.
as a stroke victim. So I ended up having 12 brain surgeries and I spent 6 months in the hospital and I lost weight until I weighed only 110 pounds or 52 kilos. And now I have two new shunts once again, but they have a new technology that allows them to talk to each other and synchronize together. So I do not have any of the problems that I had before. And I still have to have thickener in my liquids because the liquid can go directly to my lungs since the increased brain pressure affected my throat and my swallowing ability. But now I can eat any solid food that I want, so I no longer am on a liquid diet.
And how long were you on that liquid diet for, during all of the surgeries or after?
No, during all of its surgeries.
Wow.
So for 6 months.
That must have been so challenging. My goodness. I didn't know all of the details because I know, like, social media, you posted some updates, but I think I only saw like one. I didn't see the original, so I didn't know what happened. And
Yeah.
that's interesting that it kind of mirrors the same issues that you would have from a stroke. But the fact that you didn't have one means that you're rebuilding, and that's beautiful. Um,
Yes.
very, very cool. Well, thank you for sharing that with me. I appreciate you being able to share that part of your life.
Yeah, you're welcome. And I put a pinned comment at the top of the video so anyone interested can read it also.
Yeah, perfect. That's a really good idea. How did this idea come up actually for this project?
Um, because I wanted a way to practice my speech and catch up with old friends.
Yeah, that's really great. It's a great idea and it's working as it should be.
Yeah, I enjoy it a lot. It keeps me busy
Who
because
oh, go
the
ahead.
most frustrating thing for me is mentally, I am healing much faster than physically. So my brain is healthy, but my body is like an old man body.
Mm, yeah, I can imagine that must be so difficult. I have a lot of friends and acquaintances that were athletes at one point, some of them that had issues from the Boston Marathon bombing, and that change in identity when you go from like, this is who I am to this is now because of some situation who I have to be for the time being. And sometimes they're at odds. And that can be the most difficult challenge of how do you like reconcile what your identity of who you used to be to who you are now, and like accepting the limits but also pushing them. Yeah, it's oof, definitely my hat's off to you because I know you've worked so hard and I've been following your progress and you definitely can see the progress even from a distance. So that's so much perseverance. That's amazing.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. And my wife and daughter have been great and they help me all the time. And my daughter treats me the same as any able bodied father.
Oh, good. Well, yeah, that's amazing. That's your daughter. She understands that you're her dad and she loves you as a whole person, and that's beautiful.
Yes, because I have been sick for her entire life. So she has never gotten to know me any other way. But it doesn't matter to her. She treats me just the same. And I am hopeful that in the future I can give her a normal life again.
Yeah, that's beautiful because that must be a huge motivator for you as well, right?
Yeah, she is the one that kept me going when I was stuck in the hospital for 6 months. I only wanted to get out and see her again out of the hospital.
Yeah, that must have been a huge, huge just like motivator, just pulling you, come on, you can do this. Oh, that's beautiful. And I have a question about your wife. I don't think I met her, but I'm not sure. How did you two meet?
We met on Tinder.
Nice. I met my current
Yeah.
boyfriend on Bumble, so
Yeah. We met in 2014 and we had a terrible first date. So I was convinced she would never see me again. But I managed to convince her for a second date.
That's funny. Terrible. Why? Did you do something or was it the circumstances?
Um, both. So because we were in Bogota, I assumed that she would be late like every other Colombian, so I did not want to waste my time waiting for her. So I decided to show up 30 minutes late, but she was on time. So called me on the phone and I was on Transmilenio and I was like 20 minutes away, but I told her I would be there in 5 minutes.
So you were the Colombian.
Yeah.
That's funny.
And then when I finally arrived, I planned to take her to a local bar that I knew of, and she was in high heels.
Uh-huh.
So we had to walk there, and it was not close. So we arrived, and the bar was closed.
Oh
I
no.
did not have a plan B,
Oh
so
no.
I did not want to make her walk all night long. So I took her to the first bar that I saw, but it was a trashy dive bar full of drunk old men, and Vallenato was playing so loud that we had to scream at each other just to have a conversation. And after our date, I said, "This girl will never see me again." But luckily, she did.
Oh,
And
that's
I did better the second date.
that's too funny. Oh, that's great. That's
Yeah.
a great story. Very,
Yeah.
very funny.
But I got lucky. And Jenny did not want to download Tinder on her phone. So she had her friend download Tinder. And the first conversation we were talking, and I thought I was talking to Jenny, but I was actually talking to her friend.
Oh, that's
And
even funny.
luckily, her friend liked me, so she told Jenny to go out with me.
It was meant to happen, see?
Yeah, so
Oh,
I got lucky again.
that's too funny. That's too funny. And how long have you guys been together now?
10 years now.
Wow, 10 years. Amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing. And Eliana, my daughter, is very lucky that Maria Paula, Jenny's friend, told me to go out with Jenny.
Yeah, absolutely. She should be like the godmother or something.
Yeah,
That's too funny.
yeah, I tell her thank you every year on our anniversary.
That's beautiful. And how often do you guys, do you guys come back to Colombia? Or I know with the situation, a health issue might have been challenging the last couple of years, but how has it been since you moved to Spain? Have you gotten a chance to move around or mostly just over there?
Just over here, but this year my mom is coming on July 30th
Oh, it's
here
around the
to
corner.
Spain. Yeah.
Nice.
And then we are going back to Texas with her.
Oh,
So we will spend 2 weeks in Texas with my family.
oh, that's lovely. And has your mom been to Spain before?
Yes.
Well,
This
yeah, all of
will
Spain's
be,
amazing. Anyway.
yeah, this will be her fifth
Oh,
time
wow.
to come to Spain.
Oh, amazing. And where do you guys live again?
Uh, in Texas, but we live here in Pamplona.
Oh no. Uh-huh. And what is Pamplona like?
Pamplona is an older city because it was established by the Moors before it was part of Spain, and it is in the north of Spain. We are like 1 hour away from the border with France. So the winter here is terrible, and I do not like it because it snows and it's cold, but the summer here is nice.
Of course, summer in Spain. Oh, delicious. And what do you guys eat? Do you guys have any local dishes native to that region of Spain? Some sort of like fusion?
Um, Nothing really local to this region, but we have things like tapas or a torta de patata or chorizo. There's a lot of different food here in Spain that is good, but our housekeeper is from Medellin,
Oh,
so she cooks Colombian food, and I like it because she is a good cook and she makes good food that is in Colombian style.
Yeah, my boyfriend, he's Venezuelan and he also loves to cook comida criolla. So he, does the beans and the plantain and the shredded chicken and yeah, for sure. And it's healthy. That's the other thing. It's healthy and it's good and it's fresh. So why not, right?
Yeah,
Oh, very
it
cool.
is.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So I don't know. Do I continue with questions? I don't even know what number question you were on.
Um, my last question for you is, what is your favorite family tradition?
I don't really have like any traditions in my family, I don't feel like. I mean, well, no, I guess I don't know if it's a tradition, but I left my house when I was pretty young, but then um so I didn't really have like a base of too many traditions and we weren't super religious beyond, the Christmas tree and maybe the stockings, but I would say my favorite tradition is that when I come home to visit now, we us sitting in the living room watching Russian and Tebe. So like these Russian shows because I'm trying to work on my Russian and keeping it polished and active. And so when I come visit my parents, they like to choose a funny series and we would watch it together in the living room. And yeah, that's become kind of a tradition that I come visit and they look for either like a series or some movies that they would recommend in Russian and we watch them together.
Yeah, that's good.
Um,
Well, that was my last question for you. So you can ask me any questions that you have.
yeah, sure. So okay, the first question is what I guess I'll go from some of the questions in the list. So how did we meet?
Um, I remember us meeting at a party that Dave from Costa Rica had.
Uh-huh. Yeah. David Hernandez. Because I was looking at your Facebook or to see our mutual friends, because I was like, I've seen him at other parties, but whose party was it? I don't know why. I thought it was like Graham and somebody else from Bogota Business English, but then I look at our mutual friends and it's got to be David Hernandez. Because you're also friends with
Yeah,
James and Natalie and so
yeah.
yeah, that whole group. Okay, that makes sense. And what I don't know if you remember, but like what was your first impression of me? I'm just curious. I don't know if you remember because I don't know.
Um, I remember that I really enjoyed your personality, and you are very outgoing and we like to talk to people. So I feel like we just connected and got along really well.
Yeah, yeah. And I think I remember we had a friend in common, right? You knew Mr. D, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, that's the other thing that I remember because of Texas, because you're originally from Texas and he was too. Um,
yeah.
okay, cool. And how long do you plan on staying where you are in Spain?
Indefinitely. I do not plan on moving again because the government takes good care of you here, and healthcare and education are paid for by the government. So the two biggest expenses that you have in the US we do not have here. So unless my my parents get really sick, I do not plan on us ever moving again.
Was it hard to get citizenship or what's your situation? Are you a citizen in Spain or what's your what's
No,
yeah, like what's your status? If you don't mind sharing.
I have a visa through my marriage because my wife is a Spanish citizen.
Hmm.
But when we return from our trip to Texas in September, I will apply for Spanish citizenship.
Awesome. And it should be a slam dunk getting it since you live there and you've lived there for a while and you have the visa already, right? Is it easy to get?
Yes. And because my wife is already a citizen of Spain, it will be easier for me.
Amazing. Oh, that's so great. Because then you can work anywhere in the EU, right? As well, if you ever
Yes.
get right. Cool. And are you and have you been working in these last few years?
No, I have not been working due to health reasons,
Yeah.
but now that I am stabilizing and getting better, I am trying to find work. So ideally, I would like to have a job that you can do from home that does not require me to talk on the phone, but so far it has not been easy for me to find work. So I am still looking. And if I was to find a job outside of the house, I'm also willing to do some kind of work outside of the house, but I struggle with my speech, obviously, so I would prefer a job where I do not have to talk a lot.
Yeah, of course, that makes sense. Actually, that raises another question. How did the situation affect your Spanish? Was it affected in the same way as your English?
Um, the only thing that has been affected is the ability for me to speak fast and clearly, but my comprehension of everything in English or Spanish is exactly the same.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And I was gonna say that like your pronunciation seems really good with the R, so I guess that's all that really matters in Spanish. The R and the
Yeah.
S, maybe. That makes sense. Okay. Interesting. And let's see. So, you talked a little bit about the fact that you're looking for different types of jobs. I'm curious, what kind of websites are you using to look for work from home jobs?
Um, Info jobs and Indeed platforms like that offer jobs.
Okay, cool. And what has been your experience with some of those platforms? Are there some that you would recommend to others who might have, speech issues or who also look for work from home? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
all right, good deal.
Yep. The question was, if from the platforms and websites that you've been using to try to find a work from home job, are there some that you've seen better options or worse options than others? I ask because my friend who has MS is kind of in a similar situation. She doesn't have problems with her speech ability, but she does have problems doing physical work, and with the MS, some days are worse than others. So she need something flexible. So there might be some overlap in like needs for the type of jobs. But yeah, just curious
Yeah,
platforms you've seen
um,
others.
well, everything I have found so far with info jobs or Indeed has been traditional jobs, but you can specify or search specifically for jobs online from home so she can filter her results based on jobs that you can do from home.
Gotcha. Okay. If you want, since do you have LinkedIn? I was going to ask.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
do.
If you want, I have been saving a lot of bookmarks from various publications that I've seen in my network of people sharing really good work from home websites. And I have a really long list. So if you'd like, I can like resend those bookmarks to you via LinkedIn, like instant inbox or direct message. And then if there's any on there that you haven't used before, maybe that'll help. Because I always save them as I see them in my feed because I work as a recruiter and I help prepare Spanish speakers for interviews in English. So I always save those types of jobs since a lot of them are really helpful for my network. So if you'd like those resources, let me know and I'd be happy to send those along as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I will take it. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Now like I said, I haven't tried many of them because a lot of them are new, but you can go through them. And if there's one you're like, oh my God, this is super successful, also let me know because then I can share that one with friends of mine that have similar kind of situations. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So let me see if I had any other questions on my list. Um, what are your plans? What are your plans for the holidays this year?
Um, Other than our trip to Texas,
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah, my daughter's birthday is December 14th, and mine is December 30th. So we
Oh,
are born close together. So I just plan on spending holidays with family and friends, but my daughter will be turning 4 years old.
aw, very nice. That's so lovely. And
Yeah,
how do you guys celebrate birthdays? What do you guys do, like a cake and
yeah,
candles or?
a cake and candles and birthday presents. Normally, we get together with my in laws and my brother in law and sister in laws, and we just spend time with family.
Oh, wonderful. And do you guys have a big extended family in Texas?
Yes. My dad has four brothers and sisters,
Wow.
and my mom also has four brothers and sisters. So I have a ton of cousins, and now most of my cousins also have children, and I still have one grandma living.
Wow, that's amazing. Okay. And how old is grandma?
Yeah, she will be 89 in November.
Oh, amazing. I hope she
Yeah,
stays in good health.
yes, and I am looking forward for her to meet Eliana.
That's right, because they haven't met yet, right?
No, they have not.
Oh, that's gonna be wonderful. Grandparents love meeting their grandkids.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
and she has 21 great grandchildren.
wow, that's amazing. I'd love to see that family tree drawn out.
Yeah, it would be
Crazy.
huge.
And my poor grandma probably not going to have any grandchildren. Poor thing. Well, besides
Yeah,
me, like besides, I mean, great grandchildren. She has me, but I mean, she's not gonna have any great grandchildren.
yeah.
Neither me nor my brother probably. Oh, but that's lovely. And I guess my last question here is comparing Texas to Spain. What are some of the biggest differences that you've experienced between the two countries living there?
The biggest difference is the pace of life in the United States. Everyone works just to pay off their credit card bills, and they do not slow down to enjoy life. And here in Spain, things move a lot slower, and everyone slows down to enjoy life.
Yeah, I agree with that assessment. I very much enjoy that difference in pace between those two cultures. Because you want to speed up, you can head to the States at any time. You want to slow down, stay out.
Yeah.
No, okay, cool. Well, yeah, so that's my list of questions. Did you have any other questions for me?
No, I ask you all the questions on my list. So thank you for coming on and doing my podcast.
Absolutely. It was great to catch up with you and hear what's been going on in your life. And I wish you lots of strength, happiness, and love and amazing adventures moving forward. And I hope that your grandma really enjoys meeting Eliana and have a wonderful time with your family.
Thank you.